Welcome to Coin Local 6 at 11. I'm Kacey Montoya. Occupy Portland is now in its 10th night. We have team coverage tonight on the protests here in Portland and around the world. Firefighters are constantly practicing the safest and fastest ways to extricate victims after dangerous car crashes. A man in Canby asking for your help to find whoever stole his fishing boat. It was taken right outside his home as he slept. And this loss is especially hard because the boat was all he had left from his mother. This is the Gresham Gator. Although he looked a lot bigger than this on TV, he's actually only about 4.5 feet long. They have been standing in the exact same spot. I'll say maybe they've moved about a foot in the last 3 hours toward the protesters, but nobody's really moving toward each other. Just yesterday, another rat caught in a trap in the backyard. Well, what a weekend for college football fans. So the #2 team in the nation loses on Friday. Then the Ducks, well, they come into today. They're basically staring a return to the national championship in the face, but then
doors wide open.
There's this thing called USC that kind of got in the way. But it appears that everyone realized that the situation with police was getting very intense and it was time to move. There's a group that chained themselves to that concrete barrel 7 days ago, and we understand that they are still there tonight. Prison officials gave a small group of local media a tour inside the Oregon State Prison today. That's where they gave us a close-up look at the execution room. Gift cards that you didn't use from last year. Remember, in Oregon, they don't expire. This is where 43-year-old John Sullivan fell in the water Saturday night around 9 p.m. He was last spotted about 100 feet that way in the Columbia River. Learning that Portland police were delayed getting to a rape call because of Occupy Portland, police chief and potential mayoral candidate Mike Reese tells us there's more to this story. The Secret Service is planning to investigate after a Fox News Twitter account was hacked. Protesters have been using this electric vehicle charging station to charge things like their cell phones. You can see this extension cord over here. This is what they've been relying on for days for a source of power. But when we talked to Mayor Adams this morning, he said he was going to shut this off, and at 1:30 he pulled the plug. The gorgeous weather combined with clear roadways brought hundreds of Portlanders out for the annual Sunday Parkway. Demonstrations spread around the world. In cities in Asia and Europe, thousands rallied, and some of those protests got violent. Taking off the high heels and trading in for running shoes. I can't believe you're doing the midnight run.
In the dressing room, I know. I've got my my top and my number and my sneakers, and I'm ready to go, yeah.
Sally is ready to go, and I can't wait to go home and go to sleep. So, my, how times have changed. All right, thanks, Sally.
Yeah.
Was it an accident? Maybe a divorce? A local woman stumbles across a wedding album at a Goodwill store, and now she's trying to track down the owners. Erica Martell says she found this album at the Orchards Goodwill on Monday. There are some clues inside this album. We know the couple's names are Joshua and Shannon. They were married on September 25th of 2004, but so far she hasn't been able to track them down. Developing now, some runners in Sunday's Portland Marathon will help the search for missing Oregon cyclist Mark Bosworth by wearing his photo. This, his family and friends say, they still have a lot to do. Mark's wife Julie says that she talked to some people in their Northeast Portland neighborhood who say they didn't even know he was missing. Mark disappeared on September 16th in Riddle, Oregon, while volunteering with Cycle Oregon. Bosworth's family believes he has brain cancer and likely does not know where he is or where he should be. If anyone sees Mark, please call 911. Oh, Kelly, he's in limbo. He says he's waiting day by day to see what happens, especially since he's already waived all his appeals. Haugen tells me that he's the most upset. His family and friends and victims' family and friends are suffering and going on a wild ride of emotions.
He's a very handsome man.
It's hard to believe she's describing a twice-convicted murderer.
And he has a heart of gold, though, you know.
Barbara Ariano shows me photos of Gary Haugen from inside prison. A lifelong friend of Haugen's, she was prepared for him to die today.
I've been thinking about it all day, going, oh, this is the day it was supposed to happen.
Ariano has been on an emotional roller coaster as Haugen has been making his way through the Oregon justice system on his mission to die. When that will happen is unknown. Governor Kitzhaber issued a moratorium on all executions while he's in office, putting Haugen in a state of limbo.
Let's talk about the anxiety and the cruel and unusual punishment, you know, that is bestowed to you know, all involved in relation to, especially my family. Now, my family's they're just so emotionally just dreaded.
I spoke to Haugen's sister, Rita Marie, via Skype this afternoon. She says this process has been very painful.
I'm happy because my brother is still alive. I'm sad because, how could the governor do this to our family twice? This is the second time I had to prepare for my brother's death, and it didn't happen, and that's very emotionally draining.
The families of Haugen's victims are feeling the same pain. Clorinda Pullen-Perez's husband, David Pullen, was killed by Haugen in prison 8 years ago.
It's an incredible injustice. It is injustice. I feel that he has victimized us all over again.
From death row, Haugen says he agrees with Governor Kitzhaber. Our criminal justice system is broken, but questions the timing of calling off his execution.
He can call it, conscious, he found his conscious. Where? Under more and right? Let's be real. He talks about more and right. Oh, I really struggled, with the execution. And which one? Because you hit two back to back in 2 years, and it really didn't seem like any kind of a struggle at all.
Haugen wants to get more legal advice and see what his options are for the future, but he'll most likely remain on death row for at least the next few years and says he still wants to die.
Okay, here's a rat that we picked up.
This is one of a dozen rats spotted and killed at this Southwest Portland home in the last few months. And rodents aren't the only problem.
This is a fungus, or some of the fungus that grows underneath the building.
These photos show the moldy conditions Tyler Jones and his family have been living in for the past 6 months.
Toxic mold can kill you. We have a cousin that died from it.
Jones says the day he moved in, his next-door neighbors started telling him about mold and rats, but he found out for himself soon enough.
Being lethargic, are headaches. I've had headaches probably for 3 or 4 weeks solid on a daily basis. My wife is the same way. Mark, he's coughing up blood.
Jones and his family all went to the doctor to get treated for mold poisoning.
This is supposed to be pink insulation. This is out of the bathroom. It's not pink, it's black. It's full of black mold. This is the stuff that we're breathing. That's why they say it's toxic.
He first reported the mold and rats to his landlord in August, but 4 months later, the rats are still here. Just yesterday, another rat caught in a trap in the backyard. The family has kept meticulous records documenting every complaint and response.
We have to be out of here in 2 days and have no place to go.
Jones hopes some good can come out of what seems like a hopeless situation.
We want people to know out there that they need to be careful at what they're doing, and when they go through and they're looking at a place, to make sure they're thoroughly going through everything that they can and to find out, maybe do a little research on it before they move into the place.
Now, I've called the landlord twice. We also stopped by their Northwest Portland home today. But when they moved in July, they paid rent, and then they've been doing all this work in exchange for rent. Then in October, that is when they got this eviction notice. And now with all these legal bills for fighting the eviction, this family says just 2 weeks before Christmas, they are struggling to figure out where they're going to go. Reporting for you live in Southwest Portland, Kacey Montoya, Quinn Local 6.
Thank you.
So that's what they're doing right now. They're having a meeting. They're all trying to decide if they're going to leave. And if they decide to leave, where are they going to go? And this is coming at a time when we've seen officers continue to line up. You can see more officers coming over here with their helmets on, looking like they're ready to do something. But again, we do not know what action they plan on taking. I can tell you that about an hour ago, right here on Main Street, somebody put a tent in the road. They said it was just kind of symbolism. They're not planning on staying here. But right now, Kelly, we're in the middle of this, and everyone here is deciding, are they going to stay? And if they're going to leave, where are they going to go? Of course, we'll keep you up.